There was a hoaxer who ran a museum in Philadelphia and who was tasked with increasing footfall in the museum. So he took a kangaroo, an actual kangaroo, glued some claws and some bat wings to the fucker and went, look, it's the Jersey Devil.
I did read that. Hello, welcome to Believe. I'm Phil Green.
And I'm David Ferguson.
And this is a podcast about the world's craziest myths, mysteries, and conspiracy theories, and sometimes weird creatures.
And sometimes weird creatures, and sometimes just the cold, stark truth that you won't accept.
That's right. David likes to believe, and I like to cynic. In each episode, we bring on a guest. That guest has picked a myth, mystery, or conspiracy they want to talk about, and then we find facts and figures on the internet. We try to prove it, debunk it, or neither, because we don't know anything.
No, we're just comedians. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bad boys of podcasting, yes. Comedians, we don't know anything.
We're pretty clueless, basically, is what we're trying to say. Now, we are doing a live show.
Oh, we so are.
Where is it?
Yeah, we so are. We're doing it at the Bedford in Balham, and that's on the 15th of June. We're having two guests. There'll be a break in the middle. It's one ticket price. It's craziness and conspiracy, and it will be wonderful. Come along and enjoy the madness. We always have a great time doing it, and I'm very pumped about it.
He's very pumped about it. There'll be a link in our show notes, also in our bio as well. Do come along. It's genuinely one of the most fantastic things that we do. We love doing the live shows. It's a lot of fun.
It healed my soul.
It heals your soul, exactly. If people want to follow us on social media, where can they do that?
Oh, we're all over the social media. You can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and our handle is BelievePod.
Yes. Yeah, at BelievePod. Oh, also, you can email us, believeconspiracypod@gmail.com. Let us know either via social media or via email what you want us to cover on this podcast. We will find someone who can cover that, and we will get the answers that you need to know.
Yes.
Yes. Also, if you want an extra episode of this podcast, there's a way that they can do that, isn't there?
We just keep on giving. We have a Patreon.
Oh.
Yes, so patreon.com/BelievePod. There's extra episodes, there's early access, and there's ad-free listening. It's everything that a body could want.
That's right. And there's loads of exciting episodes on there. We've got one on whether Nicolas Cage is a vampire, whether Katy Perry went to space. We've got the Pixar conspiracy. We've just done that one, haven't
yes,
we?
that was so much fun.
A lot of fun.
Beast of Bodmin Moor.
Yes, Priory of Sion.
Ooh.
Loads of crazy, interesting stuff. So go on to patreon.com/BelievePod. You can see everything we've got on our Patreon there. It's very exciting. I'm also doing some previews of my latest stand-up show. If you'd like to come to see those, you can. I will be in Derby on the 5th of June. I'll be in Chichester on the 7th of June. On the 11th of June, you and I are doing a double of shows.
Yeah, I'm
also
so excited.
at Bedford in Balham. There'll be a link in the show notes for that or in our bio. I'm also going to places like Manchester, Camden, Newcastle, Durham, loads of other places. Anyway, go on to the show notes. You'll find a link there, or you can go to philgreencomedy.com. Now, George is pretty excited about this.
Yes.
He loves creatures.
He loves creatures because he is one himself.
He's kind of a creature himself,
Yes,
isn't he?
yes.
Yeah. And who is today's wonderful guest?
Today's guest, we are going for gold.
See what you've done.
I'm sorry. We're going for the hardest working woman in the London comedy scene.
Yeah.
Leslie Gold, and she's not even British.
She's not even British.
No.
I know. Leslie is a native New Jerseyan turned Londoner. She is the host of London's friendliest comedy night, So Far So Funny, and the resident host of Laughter to the Rafters at the Comedy Store. She's taking her second solo show to the Edinburgh Fringe this year, Tall Girl Energy, and her comedy panel show, 101 Rules for a Better World, which is a lot of fun.
It is.
Yeah.
She's brilliant and she's so funny. I love her.
And what is the myth, mystery, or conspiracy that Leslie's chosen?
We're talking about the Jersey Devil.
The Jersey Devil with a New Jerseyan.
Yeah.
Let's bring on Leslie.
Get out of the rabbit hole.
It's a fake. Every single bird in the sky is a robot.
It's fiction.
Doubt your government.
It's an urban legend.
Like, they're actually spraying something in the sky?
No way.
A stream of absurdity.
It's a total fabrication.
Welcome to the podcast, Leslie Gold!
We've hit gold.
We've hit gold.
Oh no, God, we haven't.
Yet she never wears gold.
I never wear gold
Why? What's the reason behind that?
just because I'm contrary as fuck.
Oh,
I don't know.
you're
when I was
rebelling against your own name.
yeah, it's a weird thing. When I was a little kid, I was like, oh, if I'm gold and I wear gold, that's going to be I don't know.
It's like a hat and a hat. I totally understand that. Like he never wears green.
I only wear green. For the benefit of the audio, I only ever wear green.
Do you know if you could be my cousin? Because we have all these color names in my family. It's really weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have greens, we have lavenders, we have browns.
Well, my surname's Ferguson, but
Yeah.
my mother's side of the family's green. So like,
Are you related
We're
to
probably distantly because green isn't that big a surname. Like, so we're probably distantly
In
related.
Ireland?
Yeah. It is very Celtic rooted. So yeah, it probably will be in some kind of distant relation.
Because I know exactly where Ferguson comes from.
Yeah.
But the greens are just everywhere.
To be honest, though, on this podcast, we don't see colour. You brought a notepad?
I did.
We like it when someone brings a notepad in. It rarely happens. But we like it when also we knew you were very studious anyway, so we always that very much is conforming to type.
That said, we've had 3 podcasts in recent years. This is the 3rd one where someone's had a notepad.
That's true.
Declan had it last night. And it was,
We need good. We get more dedicated guests. Great.
yeah.
Like comedians
Higher
with
caliber.
notepads. It's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, but when they're doing comedy, not when they're doing life. That's you're an organised comedian, which is very rare breed of comedian.
If it's not written down, has it even happened?
Yeah,
Like-
well,
oh good God, my life hasn't happened. Like,
The only way I can keep like the admin monsters at bay is to be really organized.
I text Phil and go, "What do I do?" I mean, like it happened today. Like,
yeah.
And does his reply go, first you brush your teeth and then you get dressed? Like,
It doesn't mean that he does the things.
Oh, no,
But
no,
at least he's got the instruction.
Okay, that's
No.
fair.
no, this poor man has suffered knowing me. Like,
What do I do? This great. Have you done it? No.
no.
Fair.
Yes, you are very studious, and you're writing a new show.
I am. Yeah, it's called Tall Girl Energy.
Yes, we should point out for the benefit of the audio that is an ironic title.
I mean, yeah. I am 5 foot nothing, which is
Compact and beigey.
Yes.
thank you.
But
But,
not tall.
it's short enough that people want to talk to me about my height all the fucking time.
Do they?
I've written a show
Do
about
they?
it. Yes.
I wouldn't think it was like that big a thing.
Oh, it's a
it?
it's a small thing. People,
that one in.
people say, "Oh, I mean, multiple people have said to me, did you know you're short?"
Yep.
Yeah, I'm aware.
It is. That is the thing, actually, because I mean, I'm short, but and sometimes, especially when I was in school, because I went to school, I was one of the shortest in my year, and they go, "God, you're short," and you'd be like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
No, it's a bit like when saying tall people, like, "God, you're tall." It's like, of course, that person knows.
Yeah. And what's the what response are you expecting? And-
We actually had.
Oh my God, I'll get off my knees.
Yeah.
Well, I try and be sarcastic with it, but it doesn't always work. Like I've said to people, like, "Oh no, oh my God, I was tall
What?
when I left the house. I must have shrunk in the rain." Like it doesn't. Yeah.
or just run towards a shop that sells heels or something.
God, no. I'm unironic. I don't wear heels.
No, you're not a
almost
heel
ever
person.
because I could wear heels, but I'll still be the shortest person in the room. So why would I do it?
Yeah.
Because they're fabulous.
They're
No, sorry.
not fab. David, you're so much more girly than me. I'm like the ultimate tomboy, and I don't do heels and I don't do fabulous.
We had Leslie.
What are you talking about? You are fabulous.
Thank you.
Yes. We had Leslie Ewan Burgess on recently.
Yeah.
So the other end of the Leslie.
Yeah,
Height
the other
scale.
North American,
Yes.
Leslie spells it with an IE,
Yes.
has a naturally colored hair,
Yeah.
And is fucking tall.
6'3".
Yes.
Yeah. Because we did say in this season we need to get the full range of Leslies in, so we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we missing any?
I don't know. Are there any in between?
We need a boy Leslie.
Yeah,
Leslie's
we need a boy Leslie. That's
Hey,
true,
Leslie's
yeah.
not a boy's name.
I only think it's a boy's name because of Leslie Nielsen. Other than that, I don't think I
I
could
went to
think.
school with a Leslie.
Did you?
Yeah,
It's-
I went to school with a boy Lindsay as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
But
a
you did
much
go to
more.
Northern Ireland.
I did go.
Well,
yeah.
but it's a much more common boy's name here in the UK than it is in America.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like in America,
Leslie
Leslie
Nielsen.
Nielsen was the only male Leslie.
The one
Aside from,
Leslie.
well, no, Bob Hope's real name was Leslie, but he was British. He was
Yes,
born
it was.
here.
Yeah.
Not far from where we're sitting right now, actually.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was born like Eltham.
That is amazing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know more about that than we do.
I think you'll find that when you're somebody like me who's a bit nerdy and you move to
Yeah.
a new place, you kind of absorb facts.
You absorb
like
facts.
That.
Yes, hence why the notepad.
I like a notepad.
Yeah. Conspiracies, mysteries, that kind of stuff. How do you feel about them?
I like my mysteries clearly labeled in the fiction section.
Okay.
I am massively skeptical about all things. Conspiracies are not my bag.
Which is interesting because when we asked you what you wanted to cover, you went through a fuck ton of options because where you're from, New Jersey, is a fucked up place. I've been to New Jersey and I thought, what a lovely, beautiful, leafy county. Nope, it's a fucking weird old place.
It's not a county, it's a state. But
Sorry,
okay.
state, sorry.
The Garden
Fair
State.
point.
It is the Garden State.
Yes.
Well, you've done your research.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one of my favorite comic books has ninjas in New Jersey because there's so much forest and undisturbed.
There is, and people don't realize that because most people think about like the area just outside New York City, which is not dissimilar from where we're recording this, and quite urban, quite built up. New Jersey's like the most densely populated state in America.
Is it?
It
I
is.
didn't know that.
Okay, I
Or
didn't
was
know that.
last time I checked. I mean, I may not be fully abreast on the population density sort of.
Well,
But it's up
status.
there.
It's up there.
If you could go back and check that fact,
Sorry, I'm slacking.
Yeah, please do. Okay.
But yeah, so you asked me about conspiracies. I didn't say I believed in all of these.
No.
things, but I'm aware of them.
Yeah.
How's
okay.
that?
That's fine. So we were going to talk about Action Park. The Action Park. Actually, you explain what Action Park is.
Okay, so Action Park, I always used to think of it as just like a water park, like a theme park, but all water rides, right? Except it was a lethal water park. It was so lethal. There's a documentary called Class Action Park about
Nice
all the-
name.
right?
Nice
It's
name.
good.
Yeah.
But like, I feel a bit like a hero because I went there every summer when I was a teenager and I didn't die.
I've got friends that are from New Jersey, and they went as well. And then when they found out, like it had been they just had no idea how awful it had been. Like people died horrible deaths.
Well,
you know?
yeah, and I think we kind of knew that. But I always thought at the time like it was an urban myth.
Yeah.
Because they were like, you'd go and a ride would be closed, and someone would be like, "Oh yeah, it's closed because they're cleaning the blood off of it."
Yeah.
But these rides were lethal.
But back in the 80s, it was harder to communicate that information widely, right? So because I remember going to like theme parks around where I lived when I was a kid, and someone would say, "Oh, that ride's closed because someone died on it," and you'd be like, "Yeah, but did they? Or is that just a story?"
Yeah, but at Action Park they really,
did. Yeah, that's the point. But I guess the point is that like kids will say that because they want to scare you, right? So, but it was actually real.
But I think when you go on some of those rides, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. That passes." Because like there was this ride, this thing called the Cannonball, I think it was. It was a water slide and it was fully enclosed and it had a loop-de-loop. And people would get stuck in a loop. And then they'd send somebody else down to dislodge the person because everyone who worked there was a stoned teenager.
Okay. That did actually happen to me in, where was I? Zante or someone like that. It was one of the Greek islands. I went to a water park there, very unsafe. And I got stuck in the tube. So I don't weigh that much. And then an 18-stone man came, colliding. In fairness, it did unblock the tube, but it was a painful experience.
Probably more contact than you wanted.
Yeah, it was
so
more than I was expecting. But yes, I'm going to watch that documentary. It does sound fascinating. Is it still there?
No.
But I mean, but is it? What I mean is, I know it's sort of clearly not still open, but is it still there?
I don't know.
No, I think they cleared it.
Probably demolished it.
Okay.
So, because it was in the winter, it was like a ski resort.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, it was this water park. And the rides that weren't lethal were really good.
Yeah. The ones where you didn't die, they were
But
great.
they had a tidal wave pool, and they were actual tidal waves. Like even if the ride worked as promised, you could still die.
Yeah. I mean, I guess sort of the risk of death does add an element to it, doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
A lot
it's
of
very
excitement.
exciting.
You never feel more alive than we're on the edge of death.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
true.
Well, yeah. So that wasn't really a conspiracy, but there was like always talk that maybe it was the mob behind it. Maybe that's why it was shit.
Okay.
Because that's the other thing I realized after I sent you that whole long list. I realized what I should have said, what we should have been talking about today, is the mob.
The Mwab.
Oh Jesus, Phil.
Come on, that was bang on.
No, it 100% wasn't. That was bad. No, the mob, the mafia.
Yeah.
Right? Because in New Jersey, there's all these people who will tell you, they'll look you dead in the eye and they'll go, the mob doesn't exist. And then they'll do this. and you guys, this is
We
audio.
couldn't have done that because who do you think's funding this podcast?
But they like tap their nose to be like, well, no, it doesn't exist, but does it?
Isn't that omerta? Isn't that what they call that?
Omerta means silence.
Yeah, isn't that what is it?
You're never more silent than when you're dead. Just saying.
Yeah, true. I mean, I grew up in Northern Ireland, and
For the benefit of our mob listeners, we don't believe you exist. Just so you know.
No.
Keep the cash coming.
I mean, I grew up in Northern Ireland. No one was in the IRA.
Yeah, same thing.
Everyone was in the IRA. No, sorry.
So the one we are going to talk about today
Yes.
is the Jersey Devil, okay, which is a very well-known one, a very famous one. So deep within the heart of Pine Barrens of southern New Jersey lurks a creature that has terrorized, fascinated, and mystified people for centuries: the Jersey Devil. A creature of local legend, the Jersey Devil is described as a kangaroo-like beast with a head of a horse, leathery wings like a bat, small arms and with clawed hands, hooved feet, and a blood-curdling scream. While skeptics view it as folklore or misidentifications of known animals, countless eyewitnesses' accounts keep its legend alive. So did you grow up with this?
No.
Okay.
No, we grew up with the idea. So I grew up in North Jersey, right?
Yes.
So New Jersey's a tiny state, right? Out of the 50, it's like the fourth smallest state. But there's this big divide between North Jersey and South Jersey.
Yeah.
Right?
I can understand that coming from Ireland.
I bet you can. Yeah, it's not a world away. So I grew up just outside New York City, which is the correct place. Right? But South Jersey, like the biggest city, is Philly, which is fine.
Is it?
It's all right.
Okay.
It's okay.
Isn't that
Philly's
where Will
nice.
Smith comes from?
Yeah.
Philly?
Yeah, there's a song about
Born
it.
and raised.
Yeah.
But so
They did move. Never mind.
North Jersey's better, and there was something about just making fun of people from South Jersey.
Yes.
And Central Jersey.
Yes.
And the Pine Barrens is part of that, and I think it's quite classist, probably.
Okay.
And it's very snobby, and it's very like, oh, those sort of inbred people in the Pine Barrens.
Yeah.
They've got a monster. But nobody that I knew believed that was a thing.
Yeah.
Can you please say monster again?
Monster?
Oh my God, I adore you.
I
But
did.
There's so much poetry in that.
I did gig in New York Christmas before last, and there were jokes about parts of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And they went over my head because I didn't have the references. So this is making sense now. So it still happens now. There's still that
100%.
classism there.
But also, it's like North Jersey looks down on South Jersey,
Yeah.
but New York looks down on New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right? So I grew up in New York State until I was 10, but not in Manhattan. That's another story. And then I moved to New Jersey. But I don't know if you've seen like Hamilton, there's 2 jokes about New Jersey in that you probably missed, probably went right over your head. Very funny to me because they're just like, oh, everything's legal in Jersey.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a rivalry there.
Right.
Right? Because Manhattan's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? New Jersey is lovely, but it's not New York City.
No, it's very different.
It's very different.
Given how close it is, it's very different.
Well, see, like where I grew up, I could go into Manhattan, and that was like my playground. I could go clubbing, I can go dancing, I could do whatever I wanted to do, go to gigs, but I didn't have to live in the city.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford to anyway, so
Yeah.
it didn't matter. But yeah, so there's this rivalry, right? And like in North Jersey, we look down on South Jersey, obviously.
Yeah.
And in people in South Jersey, where we'd go down the shore is New Jersey for going to the beach, by the way. Go down the shore, which it's
Where
kind
Jersey
of embedded.
Shore happened.
Those people aren't really from New Jersey on that program.
I've had other people tell me that as well.
Horrible. But like the way we call it down the shore, by definition, it's like we're going down there. It's not of us. It's of South Jersey.
Okay.
Central Jersey. And they don't like us coming down there.
Right.
And there's various words that they would say about Northern Jersey people coming down to the beach.
Trump getting elected does now not seem as weird. With do you know what I mean? Like once you explain that context, it's like, oh, you have a problem with just the people down the road, let alone people coming in from Mexico.
But
I
I
mean
mean-
you specifically, but like Trump voters.
But no, like regional rivalries.
Yeah.
You know, come on, we're in the UK. Have you been to Southampton and mentioned Portsmouth?
I lived
Come
in
on,
Southampton. Yeah.
right?
I
Or
mean,
like
North London looks down on South London.
And also,
you're
yeah.
wrong to do so.
Yeah. Or look at like the War of the Roses. You had a whole fucking
Yeah,
war
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So it's not unique.
No, it's not
to
unique at all.
America.
It's not unique
But I
at all.
will say, Donald Trump, like, New Jersey's not responsible for him. He's from New York. He's so bad. And actually, if we want to talk about the Jersey Devil, he went down to Atlantic City, built a casino that just sucked up money, defrauded 1 million people, and then fucked off. So maybe he's the Jersey Devil.
That's not in my notes.
It's not mine either.
But it's fucked the episode before we've even started.
No, all right. No, you were saying about the Jersey.
Okay, so
right,
the origins
okay.
of the Jersey Devil legend date back to the early 18th century. The most popular version of the story involves a woman known as Mother Leeds. According to legend, Mother Leeds, burdened by poverty and the weight of caring for 12 children, cursed her 13th child, exclaiming, "Let this one be the devil." When the child was born, it transformed into a monstrous creature, sprouting wings, and flew up the chimney into the night. Historical records hint that Mother Leeds may have been a real person.
Elizabeth Leeds.
Deborah Leeds.
Deborah
Who close, who lived in the area around 1735 and did have 12 children. Her family was known to have been politically and socially controversial, which may have contributed to the vilification and mythologizing.
Mythologizing.
There you go. I learn new words every time we do one of these. Of their name. Over the centuries, the story has been embellished with the Leeds family coat of arms, featuring a dragon-like creature, only fueling suspicions. I do like a family coat of arms.
Do you?
No, but I think in this particular case, I like the fact it's a dragon. I think that's pretty cool.
A dragon is cool. Okay, Wales has it on their flag. That's
Yeah.
cool. But like family coats of arms, right? They're all completely like fake.
Oh, of course they are.
Yeah.
It's mental.
Yeah, my dad worked in advertising in the 60s and worked for a company whose whole product was family coats of arms, and they would just make it to order.
Okay.
It was just, and people were like, "But that's my family crest." No, it's not.
I have a vision of your dad in Mad Men now. That's my.
Oh yeah, he did. He worked in advertising
it was
in the
him.
60s.
Okay, yeah.
But he was not Don Draper.
That's a shame.
Sorry.
So the Mother Leeds thing. I'm guessing this is a story you knew about. You were told. as
Nope.
kids. No, not at
Nope.
all. Okay.
No, I read the Wikipedia page too, but it's all I ever heard was, oh, in the Barrens there's like a monster. There's a monster, David. But nobody.
Not the Moab.
Oh,
See,
fuck's
it's bang
sake,
on.
Phil.
It's so good.
It's so bad. No, like there would be, and I think it was that classist thing, right? So this woman who originated the story originates from, she was poor, right?
Yes.
Poor.
Yes.
Yes.
Poor.
Poor.
Thank you. And so of
I
course,
mean, she
this
has
is-
got 12 kids. So.
which is
And
mental.
I think she's single as well. I think
No,
that
she wasn't.
She had a husband.
Well, she didn't,
The
create
kids were
13
coming from
kids on her
somewhere,
own.
yeah.
I'm not saying she didn't do the thing, but
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the thing I read said she had a husband, but I don't know. But I mean, this was 300 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And everyone was poor. then.
Everyone, yeah, and everyone was fucking because there was nothing else to do.
And also, America wasn't a thing yet. This was the colony of New Jersey,
Yeah.
and there was this rivalry between royalists and Republicans, not in the Irish sense. Sorry,
I feel very sane here this episode.
but like, and apparently the Leeds family were like big supporters of the king.
Oh, were they? It didn't.
Apparently, that's what I read.
Oh, okay. Yes, actually, yes,
Yeah.
they were. Hence why they were controversial. Yes,
Yeah, but it's just look.
but that doesn't explain why when Child 13 came out, they went, well, this one we don't give a fuck about.
Okay, but is there any contemporary record of that?
No, but
No,
then
of
wouldn't,
course
probably
not.
wouldn't have been there. But there probably wasn't a record-keeping system of that nature, or certainly an elaborate one at that time.
Well, yeah, but they still would have. I promise you, if some woman gave birth to a baby that flew up the chimney after sprouting wings and turned into a dragon, someone would have written it down.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, they definitely talked about it because the legend is there.
legend is there.
The
The
legend, I mean, sorry, there's legends in a book. It's called the Bible. You can get that. That wasn't written down at the time it happened either. Yeah, okay, yeah, I've realized I've marked my stake
the
as
good
an
little
atheist.
Catholic boys.
Yeah, I'm an atheist, yeah. But look, we're expected to believe that there is this monster
Yeah.
that was born of this woman that sprouted wings, turned into a dragon, fucked off, and there's only ever been
the
one
chimney.
up the chimney. right? And there's only ever been one. So are we meant to believe that this thing is immortal? Because now it's like coming up on its 300th birthday.
Yeah, it made a comeback recently. That's true.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb. I don't think it ever lived.
What?
No, look, and also you described it as like being like a kangaroo with claws and bat
Well,
wings.
that's
and I
my-
can tell you why you described it that way.
Okay.
Because there was a hoaxer who ran a museum in Philadelphia and who was tasked with increasing footfall in the museum. So he took a kangaroo, an actual kangaroo, glued some claws and some bat wings to the fucker and went, look, it's the Jersey Devil.
I did read that. I gotta say, I kind of respect that.
I mean,
Showman.
Yeah.
I do have to wonder if that's the genesis for the logo on the Bacardi bottle.
Oh,
No, that's a
No, that's a
different.
bat.
That's a different.
Is that bat?
It's a bat. It's a different
Okay,
thing.
sorry. It just made me think of Bacardi. Maybe because in
I
Jersey
always
as a
think of
teenager, Bacardi would be.
Bacardi is my drink.
Is
and
it?
I love Bacardi. It's mother's milk to me. So I don't touch it. I don't really drink alcohol.
Okay.
But Bacardi.
Vice.
I love Bacardi. even love the smell of it, and I'm a complete alco when it comes to Bacardi.
Really?
Bacardi
And I mean,
Barbados. It's a nightmare.
anything B.
Yeah.
All things
Butts
with
as
B.
well.
Butts, yeah.
Yeah. Batty boys. Oh yeah. Batman, Batgirl, Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
Amazing.
So notable sightings throughout history. The flap of 1909, perhaps the most intense period of Jersey Devil sightings, occurred in January 1909, often referred to as the Jersey Devil flap. Over the course of 1 week, hundreds of people across South Jersey and even parts of Pennsylvania and Delaware reported encountering the creature. Strange tracks were found in the snow, tracks that defied logical explanation, reportedly crossing fences, rooftops, and rivers. So the thing with this is that is true. There were actually a lot of accounts.
There were a lot of accounts, but let's set the scene.
Yeah.
It's 1909.
Yeah.
TikTok does not exist.
No.
Phones don't exist.
No.
Television, film, barely.
Film exists.
Film exists,
People went
but
to
not
cinema.
in like mass
No.
cinema,
No,
right?
you're another 10
So
years
what I'm
behind.
saying is, entertainment was hard to come by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also in the Pine Barrens. It's a funny name, the Pine Barrens, right? Because it's forested. It's a thick, forested area, right? Nothing much grows there aside from trees,
Yeah.
okay? But it's called the Barrens. Why? Because there's nobody there.
Yeah.
There's like, New Jersey's like the densely populated state. And I looked it up, in the Pine Barrens, it's like 15 people per square mile. There's nothing. There's fuck all to do there.
Deep people
Somebody
and a
went,
devil.
I think I saw a monster, and somebody else went, I think I saw that too. And that's what happened in 1909, I reckon.
What's interesting about this particular spate of sightings is correlates with other sightings in other parts of the world. So the Devil's Footprints is a very famous, literally hoof footprints in snow that was followed around the south of England. And there's also a thing called Spring Heel Jack. And Spring Heel Jack is not tied to the Jersey Devil myth, but it's tied to these sightings because it was like, oh, is it the same thing? Because we're like 2 centuries after, or a century after its first appearance, so it's transmogrified. It was the Leeds Devil, and it became the Jersey Devil. So I almost think we're talking about 2 separate things at this point. So like what the reason I'm bringing this up is. Footprints being seen and things in the air being seen that are kind of odd and kind of humanoid was a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the power of suggestion is really strong. But also, didn't somebody fess up to faking most of the hoof prints?
They did.
All right, then.
But not all. Actually.
Not all. Oh,
So,
okay. I
so-
faked 15 of the hoof prints, but the rest are real.
There's a real tradition of people claiming that they hoax something after the hysteria has happened. A lot of Sasquatch sightings that comes out afterwards, and then they show this is how I faked the footprints and this awful sculpt of a foot, and it's like, yeah, but there's dermal ridges in the footprints that we were looking at. It's not the same thing. So I if you're going to hoax it, you don't claim it after the fact.
Okay.
Well, but that kind of delegitimizes the hoaxing.
It does what?
It delegitimizes the
Yeah.
hoaxing.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit that last part out. But Because you're right? Because if you, but then you would never say it before, would you? You're not going to say, I'm going to go out and
you only
hoax.
say when you've been
Yeah,
caught.
of course, yeah.
But if you're doing a hoax, you want to get the kudos for it, so you would say to people like it's always I did it. Did you really, really?
Well,
Attention
all right.
chicken.
But on a similar thing, around that time of 1909, there was this guy who lived in the Pine Barrens or somewhere near there, and he was like a survivalist, right? He was a prepper, but like in the early 20th century.
He's the Bear Grylls of his day.
He was the Bear Grylls of his day, and he would cover himself in like mud to fend off mosquitoes and that. Because mosquitoes in New Jersey, I don't miss mosquitoes. Fuck me, they're terrible. Anyway, I reckon that a lot of people were just out there in the woods, fucking about with mud, and they were bored because, again, no TikTok, right? So I reckon they went, you know what we're going to do? For shits and giggles, we're going to scare the living lights out of everybody we find.
I can concede that definitely. That sound.
In fairness, it'd be a good way of keeping people out of the woods.
Well, that's it, yeah. So it's for entertainment. Maybe it could simultaneously, it could either keep people out of the woods, which the locals would want, or if they were like poor, which people in the Pine Barrens is not a wealthy
They're
part
what?
of this, poor. 2 syllables. If they're poor,
Yeah.
oh, David's loving this. Then maybe if they want to generate some tourism, they up the ante of how many Jersey Devil sightings there are, because that's going to bring people in.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's loads of reasons to fake it. There's no reason it's real. There's no possibility it could really. You're not having a kangaroo with hoof prints and bat wings. It's not real.
I'm not saying the guy that put the kangaroo batwing thing in the museum, that's the real thing, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, Leslie.
Okay, I will concede this. The Jersey Devil does exist, only it's a hockey team.
Yeah, okay, the hockey team does exist. Yeah. Okay.
They exist.
That's a fact.
That is a fact. I think they've won the Stanley Cup a few times.
They have.
Okay,
yes.
fair.
Police officers in Camden and Bristol allegedly fired on the creature but failed to injure it. This is all in 1999. Schools closed and workers stayed home from fear. Newspapers ran sensational headlines and mass hysteria gripped the region. Among the notable reports, a trolley car full of passengers in Haddon Heights was attacked by the creature, and firemen in West Collingswood repeatedly sprayed it with hoses only to watch it fly away unharmed.
Okay.
That's a lot of people to
That's
see
a
it.
lot of people, but let me just draw your attention to something else that supposedly happened in New Jersey about 20 years later. Have you ever heard of a little thing called the War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you know that was a radio play and people thought it was real?
I did know it was a radio play.
And people thought it was really happening when it went out on the radio.
Well.
Because people...
But I mean,
Yeah, I think you're making a judgment on the people of Jersey.
it's South Jersey.
South.
This isn't going out internationally, is it?
Yes.
oh yeah, we're worldwide.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Do you know
yeah.
listen to this podcast? The WAP! Anyway, so the Navy commander's encounter, one of the most famous personal accounts comes from Commodore Stephen Decatur. Decatur, let's go with that.
Decatur.
Decatur?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Is it Decatur?
Yep.
Decatur.
Nice, thanks. A naval hero of the early 19th century, he was said to be visiting a foundry in the Pine Barrens where he tested cannonballs.
Or cannabis.
It says cannonballs. According to legend, he spotted a flying creature while firing a cannon and allegedly shot a hole through its wing. Despite the direct hit, the creature continued flying as if unharmed, an account that echoes similar reports from later centuries. A cannonball that is pretty extreme to try and take it up with that.
Yeah, and nobody in the history of the American military has ever lied about what happened on the battlefield ever.
Also, to hit it, I know a cannonball is big, but to have the accuracy to hit it with a cannonball,
To hit a bat wing that's
a
attached to the back
flying
of a
creature
kangaroo.
with a cannonball, like a gun, okay, yeah, you can believe that, but a cannonball,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man used trade.
Yeah.
The man used trade.
In fairness, yeah, he was an expert. He did know what he was doing here.
So?
Okay, here's another one then. The
Okay.
Farmer and the Devil. In another story from the early 1800s, a farmer in the Pine Barrens found a strange creature raiding his chicken coop, described as a winged beast with the head of a horse and a piercing shriek. The creature allegedly flew away when the farmer tried to shoot it. The farmer later found odd cloven hoof tracks around his property, much like those reported during the 1909 flap. So we talk about the faking. Yes, people did admit to faking it, but these are two very different times. This is 100 years apart.
And look, a lot has been written about the Jersey Devil making a shrieking sound, right? That's the thing. But
That is consistent with a lot of these
Yeah,
reports.
that is consistent. But there is something called a sandhill crane
Okay.
that is native to the area that could make that noise. Or I don't know if you guys have had the same experience as I have living in London. Have you ever heard foxes?
Oh my
fucking-
God.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have foxes in New Jersey. I reckon there's a lot of foxes in the Pine Barrens.
Yeah, I mean, that's that's probably a fair call, actually. That's probably a fair call.
I mean, what's more? Let's just look at Occam's razor, right? What's more likely, foxes fucking, or kangaroo with bat wings with a cannonball hole in it?
Look,
Flying kangaroo.
flying kangaroo.
Yeah.
Look, we live in London. We know foxes exist because we've seen them. So
Or heard
here,
them,
it's
yeah.
foxes. Jersey, this thing is called the Jersey Devil. There's got to be something in that.
Well,
It's
what about the
native.
Tasmanian devil?
Yes, it lives in Tasmania.
Are they cousins?
They might.
They might be.
Might be. Yeah.
Is that one? Does that
Have
one
you ever
fly?
seen a Tasmanian devil?
No.
They are genuinely mental. They're great.
Are they?
I've been to Tasmania. It's lovely, weird, but lovely.
Tasmania is real?
Tasmania's a real place.
Sorry. I know it's Kylie. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry. I know Australia and all parts of it exist. Sorry.
Isn't Hannah Gadsby from Tasmania?
Yeah, but I don't love her the way I love Kylie.
Well, I can't help
Love
with
them
that.
the way I love Kylie.
Okay, that's fair. But sorry. So yeah, I mean, just because people have a myth doesn't
Right,
mean
do you want some
it's-
more modern sightings?
Go on.
1972, a group of campers near Wharton State Forest reported hearing chilling screams echoing through the woods. When they investigated, they claimed to see a dark figure with wings perched in a tree. The creature flew off into the night before they could get a better look. Despite searches by local police and curious residents, no concrete evidence was found.
Exactly. No evidence was found.
But- yeah, but-
look,
but
all
it
right.
flew away.
But so where I grew up in New Jersey,
Yeah.
there was at the time when we're talking mid to late 80s, there was a lot of talk of satanic cults.
Yes.
Yeah,
They didn't exist.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
No, they didn't
have you
exist.
seen
They
the
didn't
government
exist. They
now?
didn't exist. There would have been people who were like, I'm a Satanist.
They didn't,
But
they
they
didn't
weren't.
exist in a literal form, but they existed in a sort of pop culture type way.
Well, yeah, it's called fiction. But like they weren't having massive covens and kidnapping children and burning babies. Like these things didn't happen. They're myths.
I can send you YouTube videos of witnesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Please
like
don't.
Have you seen Rosemary's Baby?
Oh God, no.
it's a great film.
2015.
Sure. Whatever you say in 2015 is invalidated by what the American people did in 2016.
No, but this
Ghostbusters 2016 's not that bad.
Mental.
No, they were already mental.
In October 2015, the legend of the Jersey Devil roared back into the national spotlight when a New Jersey resident, David Black, claimed to have captured photographic evidence of the creature while driving home from work near Route 9 in Galloway Township. According to Black, he initially noticed what he thought was a llama running through the clearing beside the wood. However, as he slowed down for a better look, the creature suddenly unfurled. Oh my God, I can't
Unfurled
talk
its
to it.
giant bat wings.
The creature suddenly unfurled massive bat-like wings and launched itself into the air. Stunned, Black quickly pulled his phone and snapped several pictures before the creature vanished into the tree line. Have you seen the video of this?
I have not seen a video
Okay.
of this. Have
it's
you?
worth a Google, yes.
And
yeah.
do you believe that
Yeah,
it's real?
I do believe it's real.
Okay, in that case, I have a bridge in Brooklyn that I'd really like to sell to you.
What is interesting? Have you ever seen the hammer-headed bat?
No.
It's a Jamaican bat. It's huge. It's a flying fox, effectively. And if you look at it, it's what the Jersey Devil is described as, because especially the face, and it's because it's one of my favorite bats. You know,
Well, that would make sense because that's presumably got a breeding population,
Yeah.
so would therefore have survived centuries if they continue.
And that could have just hopped on a plane and been in New Jersey in 3 hours.
well, I don't know that because I haven't done the research, but apparently there was a stop off in Jamaica before you got to New Jersey.
From where?
Like, in the oldie times, the way that before the
So it hitchhiked to New Jersey.
So they would have had the bat with them. Although,
So are you saying like boats went to the West Indies and then went to New Jersey? Because you wouldn't go to the West. Like, depending where you're coming from, it's not really on the way.
Yeah, I asked my dad about this because he's a sailor and he understands how things going with that. That doesn't sound right, but all I'm going on is how it was read. However, the point that I'm making is, if you look at the hammer-headed bat, it's the Jersey Devil. I mean, it just is.
Okay, and how does the hammer-headed bat say monster? Because if it has my accent, I'm buying it. I'm there. It's the Jersey Devil.
But seriously, look up the hammerhead.
I will.
Bat.
I think
awesome.
that's
So you're saying that Mother Leeds gave birth to a hammer-headed bat?
No.
Child 13 was a hammer-headed bat.
I'm yes.
Can I suggest that the Mother Leeds story might, possibly, tiny little chance, might have been fed by classism and misogyny? Is that possible?
I mean, I've got nothing in my notes on that, so no.
Classism and misogyny?
Classism and misogyny. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I don't think they were invented then. So
They definitely were.
the resulting photo of this 2015 sighting shows a blurry silhouette of a strange creature airborne against the twilight sky. It appears to have hooved, feet dangling beneath it, a long neck, outstretched wings, and a head oddly resembling that of a horse, matching centuries-old descriptions of the New Jersey Devil almost too perfectly.
Funny that. I wonder if the person who wrote that description had read about the Jersey.
Baby, but why bring it back in 20? I mean,
Well, because we're talking about it right now.
one thing we have said this before is that was in 2015, and camera phones were actually pretty good in 2015. And it's still blurry. And one of the things we do always talk about in this podcast is with UFO sightings, modern UFO videos. For whatever reason, despite the amazing technology we now hold in our pocket, it's still always blurry.
I wonder why that could be.
It drives me crazy.
Someone just can't get a good shot of it.
I mean, honestly, they're just not trying hard enough.
Adding fuel to the fire, a few days later, another witness, Emily Martin, posted a video claiming to show the Jersey Devil flying through the air near the same general area. Although grainy and difficult to analyse, her footage showed a dark shape with wings moving in an awkward, jerking manner. The second piece of evidence, while not conclusive, lent credibility to Black's account in the eyes of many believers.
Look, people are people, right? And some of them are very suggestible. Again, I refer you to the election results in America in 2016 and 2024. But like, you can see something you don't understand, and then what a lot of people will do is make that fit something they already know about, right? I had an interesting experience because I didn't grow up in the UK, and so lots of things here are new to me. There was one time years ago, I was driving in a rural part of Berkshire. I've even learned to say Berkshire.
Yeah,
You're
good.
welcome. And I was driving down this long road that went nowhere. It was a long straight road, and I saw an animal up ahead of me running along the road in the same direction I was running. And I didn't know what kind of animal it was. And this is the only time in my life this has ever happened to me. I saw the animal, I slowed down because I didn't want to hit it, and I couldn't identify it. It looked, at first I thought it must be like a greyhound or something because it was moving at speed. But as I got closer, it wasn't the right shape for a greyhound. It looked like a deer, but it was too small to be a deer. And it didn't look like a young deer, it looked like a bulky deer. Like if a deer and a boar had a baby. Right? But it turns out, I think you know where I'm going. Maybe you
Go
don't.
on.
It turns out it was a muntjac,
Okay.
which is a really cool animal that
It is
I
a
had
really cool
never
animal.
heard of,
Yes.
never seen, didn't know what it was. But when I got to where I was going and told someone I'd just seen this incredible animal that I had no idea what it was, they were like, yeah, that's a muntjac, duh. And I looked up a muntjac, and it turns out what I'd seen was a muntjac. And I didn't. I could have tried to make it into something else that I'd heard of. Because at the time I lived in Salisbury, and I don't know if you know, there's a myth of the Salisbury,
Yes.
the large cat
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Salisbury Plain.
Yeah.
I reckon those are muntjac.
Well, hang on, because UK big cats are a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
ABCs.
But
yeah.
on Salisbury Plain, there is not a tribe of panthers on Salisbury Plain. I promise you this.
Maybe not a tribe.
A pack, a herd. What's the collective noun? I don't know.
The ABs, anomalous big cats. It's likely that there are big cats in the wild.
Because Victorians brought some idiot brought a big cat over and then went, oh shit, it's going to eat me. Let me release it.
Yeah.
But my point is, I saw this muntjac.
Might have been what happened.
No, because the kangaroo doesn't have bat ears and hooves.
Maybe one came over, mated with Mama Leeds, and that was child 13.
I don't think you have a full and complete understanding of how biology works. That's not how biology works, Phil.
So personal accounts. Many Pine Barrens residents have their own chilling tales. For instance, a truck driver named Tom recounted a terrifying experience on a lonely stretch of road near Leeds Point. According to Tom, a large winged creature swooped in front of his truck, causing him to slam on his brakes. He described it as being around 5 feet tall, with a leathery body and glowing red eyes. Although shaken, Tom found no physical evidence of the encounter afterward, only a lingering fear that kept him from ever driving that route night ever again.
Wait, did you say a leathery body and red eyes?
Red eyes.
I know that guy. That's Steve. That's Steve. He hangs out at Sandy Point. It's a beach in New Jersey. He goes there all summer long, and he is leathery as fuck, and he's always stoned. So that's the red eyes.
Steve.
That's
okay.
Steve.
Okay, fine then. So a local hiker named Angela describing hearing loud rhythmic flapping sounds above in the forest, followed by an overwhelming sense of dread. Though she saw nothing, she later discovered strange hoof prints circling her abandoned campsite.
Right. Okay. It's deer prints, probably.
Well, the thing
and
is,
also, she's paranoid. She's been smoking a lot of dope. That's what I think.
I think drugs are actually a more likely explanation than them actually making it up. Because I think with some of these accounts, it's sort of, we said this before. Sometimes you can see why somebody's made something up to maybe try to monetize it.
Yeah.
But with some of these accounts, it doesn't feel like that's the reason because
they had a bad experience.
Yeah, they had an experience on something.
I mean, have you ever been in the woods and just felt like a sudden sense of like it can be.
That's where the word panic comes from.
Yeah, it's because you're out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
You don't know what's behind the next tree or behind that bush over there. There's noises that you're not used to. It's like when you stay in a house you're not used to. The noises that a house makes always sound freaky, and those are people who are like, "Oh, it's a ghost." No,
you
it's
don't
a
need
house.
to tell us, Leslie. We found a fucking UFO in Rendlesham Forest. An actual UFO.
An actual UFO.
An actual UFO.
Uh-huh.
Television and
Photos
film
and everything.
appearances. One of the most famous appearances of the Jersey Devil in the popular media was in the hit TV series The X-Files in season 1, episode 5, entitled The Jersey Devil.
This is one of my favorite episodes. I
It's
absolutely
a
love this
really
episode.
good
I love this
episode. It is a really good episode. FBI agents Mulder and Scully investigate the series of murders in the woods of New Jersey, eventually encountering a wild humanoid creature rooted in local legend. Although the show's version took artistic liberties, portraying the devil as a feral human than a traditional winged beast, it introduced millions of viewers to the legend.
All right, so maybe DB Cooper is hiding out in the Pine Barrens.
Oh no, there's a good reference. DB Cooper. Do we know who DB Cooper is?
I love DB Cooper.
I love DB Cooper.
Context?
Oh, do you not know the
No,
story?
I don't know this one.
I mean, he'd be ancient now. Yeah. He'd be dead. He hijacked a plane in the 70s and stole a shit ton of money, jumped out of the plane.
I do know this. Yes,
he was played by
yes.
Treat Williams in a movie. Oh, Treat Williams.
Yeah.
Yes, please. And he jumped
Oh,
out
right.
of a plane with a parachute and was never seen again. And no body was found and no money was
He's
found.
come up before. We've mentioned him against something before. Yeah, yeah.
Also, but that was in like Oregon or California or somewhere. He's definitely not the Jersey Devil. I think we
Okay.
can cross him off the list.
Okay, fine. Because that wouldn't explain. I mean, in fairness, a humanoid. But this is a more realistic explanation because if Mother Leeds did kick her 13th child out,
She did. Oh.
it would into the woods and it lived in the woods. Then it would be feral.
But the story isn't that she kicked her 13th child out. The story is that she
she
gave
said it was
birth
devil.
and the infant sprung wings and flew up the chimney and exploded the house behind
Yeah,
it.
but that might have been the story that she came up with
Sure.
just to get rid of child 13.
Well, look, if you had a woman in the 1700s...
Because Americans have a weird thing about 13 because you don't have 13th floors, do you?
I do. Yeah, I have no problem with number 13. It's
Okay.
absolutely fine. It
How
comes
big's your
after
house
12
then?
and before 14.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. But if you had a woman in the 1700s
Mm-hmm.
who didn't want to have children anymore because she was saddled with a fucking dozen of them,
Yeah.
nobody is good. She's not going to be popular, right?
Yeah.
She's not winning any kind of awards as Mother of the Year. One of the most maligned things a woman can do is not want to be a mom.
Yeah.
I've been told that I'm some kind of freak of nature because I don't want children. In the 21st century. This was 300 years ago. If she was like, do you know what? I'm done now. I've hatched 12 of the fuckers. I don't want any more. All the religious crazy people, and trust me, at that time, the colonies were founded by a lot of religious crazy people who a lot of them thought that a woman's only job was to hatch children, okay? And if she didn't want to have any more, of course she's going to be maligned. Of course she is.
Of course.
I didn't even know they hatched.
Okay.
Well, I'm a gay man.
I might be taking some liberties.
None of us have children, so we don't know.
But given that your knowledge of biology is sketchy at best, I think we can go with hatch.
I think that's harsh.
They come out of eggs.
They do come out of eggs.
It's true. It's true.
So The 13th Child was a horror film in 2002. It was based on the Leeds myth, where police investigate a series of murders linked to the Jersey Devil, and The Barons in 2012, which follows a family who became convinced they're being stalked by the Jersey Devil while camping in Pine Barrens. So, I mean, it has given us quite a lot in terms of pop culture, hasn't it?
Sure, but like I said, it's fiction. And actually, I will say my favorite thing about the Pine Barrens is that I am convinced that Stephen King's Barrens in Derry is
you
named
told me
for
this the other
Pine
day.
Barrens.
Yeah.
I asked him on
Yeah.
Blue Sky, and he hasn't answered yet, which is terrible.
You asked Stephen King on Blue Sky?
Yes. Yesterday, I sent him a message. I said, solve a bet for me.
I can't believe he hasn't got back to you.
I know. How rude.
What is he doing?
He's trying to be busy, like, defending American democracy, which is probably a better use of his time,
Yep.
arguably. But so for any Stephen King fans will be familiar with the Barrens in his fictional
Yes,
town of
yeah,
Derry,
yeah, yeah.
Maine.
Yeah.
And the Barrens in Maine, in Stephen King's Maine, are very like the Barrens in New Jersey in that they are not barren at all. They're actually forested. They're dense. Nothing good happens there, right? And I reckon Stephen King's Barrens are based on the Pine Barrens. I want them to be anyway. I don't know if they are.
I could definitely see that. I mean, I'm a big fan of especially his early work in Carrie, Cujo, Silent Blood, all that. Like they're just great page turners, and
good.
and the world that he creates, you're there,
Yeah.
you know. And he's
He's a great world builder. That is
I
very
love
true.
him. God.
And also because most of his books are set in Maine, that world becomes even more flushed out. And
Yeah, because
three-dimensional, isn't it?
there's so many interlinks between his books, which aren't always even obvious.
Yeah.
But you'll
'Cause
read
it's the
one.
same world.
Yeah, it's the same world, and you'll see characters show up, and often with the same initials, and they'll end up being the same. I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah,
The number 19. Oh, and when I messaged him on Blue Sky, I made sure my message included 19 words. That's one for the Stephen King fans.
If he gets that,
I did my second message, which was also 19 words, said I'm really pleased that my previous message. Exactly.
I mean,
made
yeah,
sure-
you do tell him that it was 90 words.
Yeah.
I love Stephen King. I The Green Mile is just one of the. Have you ever read The Green Mile?
Yes.
Oh my God!
I read it in installments when it came out.
I got.
I have
remember
the
getting
6 books.
I got the chunk book for Christmas.
Was it a Batchman book? Which Batchman book was that?
No.
Green Mile was him. And
Green Mile was him, but he released it as a serial
Oh,
novel.
I do remember that, yes.
So he released little novellas, 6, I think it was 6 of them, and I religiously went and bought them when they came out, and it was such a good way to read a book.
The Green Mile is because it's thick.
I have many favorites. The Green Mile's up there,
Dolores
but
Claiborne?
Insomnia.
Dolores Claiborne's a lovely book.
Dolores Claiborne's
Really
a
good.
fantastic book. And he went through a whole series in the 90s, I think it was, of having strong female protagonists.
Yes.
He writes female protagonists better than most male authors.
Absolutely agree. Like his first book, Carrie, and I know Carrie's a tragedy, but my God, we're on her side. We're on Carrie's side. You know, and it's not just the Sissy Spacek version, although that
Which
is
was
my-
very good.
which is my favorite. But I read Carrie all the time, like 'cause it's so easy to read. You can read it in a day.
It's such a good book, but also the film is, and not all of his films famously are very good, but that one is great. And the end scene, sorry for spoilers, still gives me a jump scare
Yeah,
every
trans-
fucking
great.
time. I know it's coming, but it's like the
still-
best.
it's still
end
expected.
It transformed horror. It transformed, but it was
so good.
because you had such a great cast, and you Sissy Spacek is such a phenomenal actor.
So, psychological
So,
and cultural explanations. Many scholars suggest the Jersey Devil legend persists because of a psychological landscape of the Pine Barrens itself. This region is vast, isolated, and filled with dense forests and swamps, like you said, Leslie, making it easy for the mind to imagine unseen terrors. The Pine Barrens historically attracted marginalized groups like Quakers, fugitives, and outcasts, feeding an undercurrent of suspicion and superstition that easily gives rise to cryptids and folk monsters, which is pretty much what you were saying.
it's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's not
Weirdos
a
in the
it's not a
woods.
real monster.
Okay. Cultural historians argue that the Jersey Devil serves as a kind of scapegoat for unexplained phenomena, a vessel for collective fears ranging from the natural dangers of the wilderness to economic instability and social alienation. Ooh, that is deep.
Yeah, and it feeds into the rivalries in the States. So like the best way I could put it for a British audience is that the area of New Jersey that the Pine Barrens is in is kind of like Norfolk. In that there's the idea, people say it's like people who are inbred and there's like 3 surnames in the whole place and that kind of vibe, but it's just snobbery.
Yeah.
It's classism. Now you've got me doing it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, thank you. But it's just sort of regional rivalries and snobbery and classism and not much else.
Okay. So the Jersey Devil remains one of America's most enduring and enigmatic legends. Whether it is a creature of flesh and blood, a figment of the imagination, or a symbol of something deeper, it continues to haunt the Pine Barrens and the minds of those who dare to explore them. Through centuries of sightings and personal encounters, the Jersey Devil has transcended simple folklore, becoming a living part of New Jersey's cultural identity, a reminder that sometimes the line between myth and reality is as shadowy and elusive as the creature itself. So, Leslie, I think we all already know the answer. Does the Jersey Devil exist?
Only on an ice hockey rink.
Okay. David, does the Jersey Devil exist?
I'm going to say tentatively yes, because there's so much empty land, and as in on people's land in New Jersey, that it's really possible that there could be a breeding population of hammer-headed bats, for example.
Yes.
So it's a cryptid. Yes.
Okay. I think it is child 13, feral, and living in the woods.
Okay.
That is my...
And as we know, you're an expert on biology.
I
So
have
that
expert
totally
biology.
passes.
And we're talking about a child that has lived for 300 years.
Yep.
And that's what happens when you have a 13th child.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's probably ginger too.
Yep. Leslie, would you like to look at the scammer, tell people where they can find you, follow you, all that sort of stuff?
So I run a show in London called Sofa So Funny in Angel, which is
It
on
is a great show.
Yeah, a really good show.
Thank you. They're saying that 'cause
Really
they've both
great.
been on it.
That's right.
But it just is. It's one of the best shows in London.
Thank you. It's a friendly comedy night, and I've worked really hard to make it that, and I love it, and I love doing it. So I'm there a couple times a month. You can follow us on socials. I'm also working on my new Edinburgh show, which is called Tall Girl Energy. I've got a preview of it in Dover, as you do.
Yeah.
On June
I'm doing
6th.
that one.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, when are you down there?
Can't remember what date, but I'm doing it.
Oh, cool. I wish we were doing it the same night. That would have been fun.
No,
But I'm doing it on June 6th. And then I've got a preview in London at Aces Nate's on July 16th.
Great venue.
Yeah, it's really good, Aces Nate's. I love it.
It's lovely.
And then also I've got a panel show. Can I
Plug
be
the panel
cheeky and
show.
plug the
Plug
panel
away,
show?
plug away.
So my panel show is new and it's called 101 Rules for a Better World by Comedians. And it's like the opposite of Room 101. We're not getting rid of stuff. We're bringing in good new stuff. Rules to make the world a better place. And it is just banter. And it's fun and it's stupid and I love it. And we're taking that to Edinburgh. And then it's going to be a podcast in the autumn.
Yeah, I've watched one of the live shows and it is terrific. So if you're going up to Edinburgh this year, check it out because it's a lot of fun.
And you're going to be on.
I'm going to come on it. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
And are you going to Edinburgh, Dave?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Would you like a Jersey Devil joke to end the podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What do you call a Jersey Devil with a good sense of direction? A Leeds Devil.
Oh, Jesus.
That's excellent.
That's a good joke.
That's excellent.
That's a good joke.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it was originally
By-
called The Leeds Devil, and now
Yeah, all
By
right.
the standard of this podcast, that is a good joke.
Okay. We'll
That's
go.
the end of the podcast. Thanks for listening. Bye.
If you like the podcast and fancy extra episodes and early access every week, why not join our Patreon? Just £5 a month and you'll be helping support the pod. Remember, we love you. Bye.